Hello, I'm Matt Bystrak, School Superintendent for the West Seneca School District. Today is Tuesday, August 10th. I haven't done one of these updates in a little while, and I thought it was time just to give folks a little bit of the status update as to where we are right now, as I know everyone's anxious and eager for the start of the school year. So just a couple of things, almost housekeeping items here. We've made some moves throughout the district. Our district office now is almost fully moved into the West Elementary building. We'll be sending out a whole big communication to our families and our school community to make everybody aware of all the changes. But I'd also like to note that the Winchester move over to Winchester, which is now going to be Winchester Potters, is going very well. And also that at East Middle School, our new curricular wing, so like our assistant superintendent for educational operations, our directors, our teachers center, curriculum cabinet space, things are going very well at this point, just making some moves. And again, we will be sending out a district-wide communication to inform everybody of these changes. So the big topic on everybody's mind right now is what the school year is going to look like at the start. Now, if you'll recall back in the really at the late spring as the school year ended, we talked about how we were going to be committed to full in-person instruction for our students, and we are still committed to trying to find a way to make that happen. To be quite honest with you, I think we're going to be in good shape. If you saw the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics put out some guidance that our state and local health departments had indicated would be the basis for any guidance that they would issue, and that guidance prioritized in-person learning, saying that really needs to happen, and if you can't maintain certain social distances, that you should use other mitigating strategies. So at that point, to me, we're planning for a full return to in-person learning. We're very excited about doing that. So. As you're aware, though, New York State will no longer be issuing guidance to us, so they've relied on the local health department to help guide us. We had what I would call a productive meeting with the local health department yesterday. In case you're not aware, they are empowered to mandate certain things that school districts have to do. But one of the things they were very interested in hearing, really, just what are some of the barriers to full in-person learning. So I think they took in that feedback. I think they will carefully consider, what the next step should be. And as soon as they communicate with us, we'll be communicating with you. Something else, too, I just wanted to, bring up to our folks. Some of our families had completed the form that we had sent out about remote learning. So if you'll recall, a few weeks back, we had indicated that students that have a documented compromised immune system may be eligible for remote learning, and that if that was going to happen, they would have to provide a doctor's note. Well, some people filled that out, and we will be in touch with those families. We anticipate we'll be partnering with Erie One BOCES, who will have their remote academy, and more information will be forthcoming to those families. So something else, maybe just to turn away from some of the protocols, are some of the proactive measures that we've taken as a district to help prepare ourselves for the coming year and things that we'd like to implement this year. So just, we've done some hiring. Okay, we're using our COVID relief money to be able to bring some new staff into the district. We've been very strategic. This money is going to be with us for the next few years, but we've been very strategic to ensure that we can have a level of continuity with our programming. We're not just hiring people that we're going to have to say in 3 years, I'm sorry. So we're again, very strategic. A lot of academic intervention services, big focus on English and ELA and math. Those are two big areas of focus, really for all grade levels. So we've hired a number of AIS teachers, reading teachers, literacy. That's going to be we've always been big on literacy in the district. We're taking a much bigger push toward promoting literacy across all of our content areas. Focused on class sizes, specifically at the elementary level, trying to keep them lower. We've even brought some teachers in at the elementary level to hold in what we call abeyance. Basically, we haven't assigned them to a building or grade level yet because we want to see where maybe some of the bigger numbers are. But we're working through that process as we speak. A lot of additional social emotional supports. We've hired another psychologist in the district, actually 2 more psychologists, 2 more social workers to provide support. One of our social workers is actually, the responsibility is going to be working with our buildings and then basically working with families, going to homes when necessary, all about engagement, helping kids to ensure that, and families to ensure that if there's a barrier to a child engaging successfully in school, we want to know what it is. Also, tech integrators. We've had one at the elementary level for a couple of years now, but we're going to be adding some for the middle and the high school as well. So we'll have 3 total in the district. We had great success in that area in the past. We're also working with the town right now, and we anticipate that we're going to go from 3 to 5 school resource officers again as well. That's a step we're moving toward. We've had 5. We limited back to 3 back during the pandemic when we were in hybrid, but we're working to be able to reinstate all of them. And then also we're working with the Erie County Department of Health on some testing, some COVID testing, voluntary testing, but more information will be coming out about that shortly, but that's one of the mitigating factors that we feel may help us to keep students in-person learning. So, people have asked some questions about, will parents be allowed to come in district? Just meeting with our administrative team yesterday about this. The answer is going to be yes. We want families in district, but we're not just opening the floodgates. There could be some constraints, even in the absence of you have to have this much distance between folks at events. We're still going to be cautious about how many people we bring into the schools, but you can expect that there will be plenty of opportunities to come and talk with teachers, to watch your kids in athletic events and concerts and things like that. Again, it's maybe not exactly what it looked like back before the pandemic for the time being, but we're going to start off with the goal of trying to promote in-person events and activities for all of our families. Some people have asked questions about what happens if there's an outbreak and we had to temporarily close a school or the district and go to remote learning. Well, the good news is we've gotten very good at remote teaching, so we know what to do there. People have also asked questions about vaccination status. Do I have to tell the district, or do the kids have to be vaccinated to come back to school? The answer is no. There's no vaccination requirement. The one thing I would urge you to do, though, is if you're comfortable, please let your school nurse know if your child is vaccinated. It can be very helpful in the contact tracing process in the event that there's a positive case and your child's around them. So, school buses. People are asking, can kids take the school bus? We anticipate that kids will be on the school bus pretty close to what it looks like in a typical year. There may be some masking requirements. I think that may be likely on the school bus anyway. But we also are going to be working to create seating charts on the buses just so we know where everybody is, and families should sit together. Brothers and sisters should sit together. The one thing I think it's really important for people to keep in mind as I kind of wrap up here is that what we're doing in September may be very different than what we're doing in November, and that could be, hopefully in a good way. There's going to have to be a certain level of fluidity to the school year and how we operate, simply because the pandemic is evolving, just like it was last year. But I think we have really beefed up our capacity to be able to support our students. Everyone's very excited about the coming school year. I sent out a communication last week, and I wasn't being disingenuous when I said people are excited to get back to school, and I can't wait for the first couple of weeks of the school year to be over, because I think that everyone's going to breathe a collective sigh of relief that we're making it happen. So I'm going to touch on one final thing that I know has been a bit of a conversation as of late, is about masking. So the Erie County Health Department, as I said, is empowered to make decisions regarding things like whether or not people should be masking, whether it's mandated. As a school district, we are really looking to them for what they have to say in that regard. So we do not have any definitive decisions on that yet, but we will communicate as soon as we feel we're in a position where we can give you an accurate picture of what the start of the school year would look like. And one final thing I'm going to say is that we're going to be conducting a forum next Tuesday night. That's August 17th over at West Senior High School in the auditorium. It's going to start at 6 o'clock. In this particular situation, I will say it's open to our community, it's open to our families, but I am going to say that you do need to wear masks if you're coming to this event, given that there may be a number of people there. So, and we're going to work to make sure it's a huge auditorium, so we're going to work to make sure that people can spread out in there. And the purpose is really maybe to go in a little bit more detail on some of the topics I've covered here, but we just didn't want to wait any longer to communicate. We've been waiting on guidance for quite some time, and we just wanted to give you kind of a snapshot status update. Next week, we're also going to live stream the event, and it'll be recorded and placed on our district website. So looking forward to seeing some folks next Tuesday. I think that's all I have here. I apologize for the long video. Have a great Tuesday.